Appreciate that. You did that.
I did hit record. I did do that part. Thank you, Shane.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. All right. Welcome. Thank y'all so much for coming out. We really appreciate it. It looked like a big old family in here, right? Everybody hugging up. Could just be this cold, but everybody heat's a beautiful thing. Thank you to Peter Street Station for having us here for the second year of Artful or second time for Artful.
Sure.
Okay, all right. And many times before, of course. But I'm George Galbraith. I am one half of Artful ATL, and
I'm a Sohei Galbraith, but Artful ATL is made up of a whole lot more people than just the two of us. So,
and there's some of you in this room that have personally helped this, like, birth this thing that we're doing. But it's been good.
Okay, brief introduction.
Yeah, please.
A Sohei Galbraith again, and my background is engineering and finance, and I left corporate a little over 10 years ago. And I wanted to work with people who actually like and appreciate and consider to be my rock stars. And those are artists. So my mom is a serial entrepreneur and creative. And when I married George, he needed a lot of the same stuff that my mom had needed. And I was trying to figure out how can I do the things that I like to do that I think I'm pretty good at for people who need me and would appreciate me in a way that UPS did not. And from that, we birthed Sohei Solutions, the artist program. We co-founded Articulate ATL. And then last March, we decided to start anew with Artful ATL with many of our same efforts, but with a little more intention and a lot more love. And last year was amazing, and we look forward to more amazingness. And with that, I will allow George to introduce himself.
Okay, so I'm a high school teacher at Westlake High School. Shout out to the SWATs. Been there for 20 years. I'm an artist as well, so I have participated in some of our shows, but right now Artful so much that I can't do that right now. And y'all are so talented, I don't know if I would get in. All right. And also on top of that, of course, I curate with a Sohei. And the Youth Artist Program is our passion. In fact, there are literally students in this room, former students, that have matriculated through the arts ecosystem, and they're now artists, professional, practicing, and super talented. So that's been really cool. I've been excited about that.
Yeah. Cool. So formality, Artful ATL is a 501c3 nonprofit creating and curating spaces for emerging artists, collectors, and art enthusiasts.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll go through an Artful ATL overview. We'll hit you with some pertinent dates. We will address the submission form, what we're looking for in artists. We've added a new special slide for artists who participated before and what we're looking for from you now. Your display, your hanging, and then any questions at the end. Our why.
Please. You good at that. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So for us, Atlanta is a really, really special place. And Atlanta is full of creative, talented individuals. Creative, talented individuals have the ability to do more with less. And Atlanta is also made up of a lot of brown and Black people. And a lot of brown and Black people know how to do more with less. Atlanta happens to be that intersection of both. And I believe that for a long time, the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, has been able to benefit from this creative currency that they don't have to necessarily pour a lot back into. So when we look at how other cities and states are funded, Atlanta looks a little bit different. Georgia looks a lot different. We're 49th, and there's only one state below us, and that's Florida, and that's because they don't offer any arts funding, right? But when you look at a city like Atlanta and you compare it to the Nashvilles of the world and the Charlottes of the world, you wonder, like, how is it that we do so much? And so Artful is an opportunity for us to showcase amazing emerging talent, connecting those people to new collectors, established collectors, allowing artists to keep 100% of their art sales. And last year's artists sold about $70,000. Our continued goal in North Star is for artists to sell $100,000 worth of work and to keep 100% of that. So that's a little bit of our why. Let me see anything.
I also wanted to mention that part of Artful's goal is to give you a clean space to hang your work. Any of us that have artists have been set up on tables before. We've been set up on easels in unideal situations. the goal with Artful is to make sure that you have a clean space with no distractions from the collectors to purchase your work. Oh, and yeah, did we speak to them keeping 100% of themselves? Okay. Anybody doesn't know, yeah, you keep 100% of yourselves. That's the whole, yeah, that's the main part of the nonprofit too. Yeah.
Okay. A little history and backstory.
Yep.
Me,
please. Sorry, my bad. My mind not working.
It's okay. It's okay. So again, we started doing this work back in 2013 with Articulate ATL. There were four of us who came together to do the work. Year over year, it grew, it became larger, it became bigger, beautiful, wonderful thing. And as with all things, seasons change, people change. And here we are with Artful ATL. We're looking to continue to do that work. Last year, we were at Atlanta Contemporary. This year, we'll be back at Atlanta Contemporary. We usually have 800 to 1,000 people come out for the show. The show features about 30 artists. And we'll get into a little bit more of it, but the artists get 10 to 12 feet of wall space to display their work. So it's your own little, not little, your mini curated exhibit within the larger space. And over the course of time, I think we're over $500,000 in artist sales at this point. So really excited about that and looking forward to doing some more.
Yep. Cool. I'm glad you did that one. I would have said too much. All right. Cool. All right.
It's okay, baby.
I know it's real. All right.
So curators, that's me and George.
Okay, yes.
I think we've introduced ourselves a bit. Hopefully that's enough. And I'm sorry as I'm a little distracted because I'm also trying to manage this whole Zoom thing and let people into the Zoom room. Attendees. You want to talk about attendees?
I can talk about attendees. All right. So one, we make sure that folks that come into the room have nice libations because we know that that lubricates their ability to let go of that money in their pockets for creative spaces and purchasing your work. One of the things that we do find about our attendees is they range the whole spectrum from 21, because it does have to be 21 and up. Please, if you have any younger children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews that want to come through, we'll try to arrange for them to come through before the show actually starts, but do not bring them into the space because of our sponsors and whatnot. And then also on top of that, the one great thing that I do find, or we do find about the collectors, is they become part of the family. They're part of that ecosystem, so they need to be welcomed in. After they buy work from you, artful artists typically say, hey, I'm having a birthday party, come on through. Hey, I'm having a show, come on through. The goal is to invite them into that relationship and maintain it and grow it throughout the years so that after they buy their first piece, then they'll buy many, many, many more.
So one of the lessons we were taught a while ago from one of our art mentors was to find people of your own age to grow and collect with. So as we're collecting work, it's okay to buy from older artists, but we like to buy from people who are closer to our age, right? And so we want to make those introductions happen within the space. George mentioned the 21 and up component, and we want to make sure that we keep young, vibrant energy in the space. But my mom, his mom, all their friends come out too. So it's a very nice multi-generational event where everybody can enjoy each other, enjoy some great music, enjoy some good drinks, and buy plenty of artwork.
Yeah. And some of the donations from the event go to the Youth Artist Program. And the Youth Artist Program, our goal is to get students from the south side of the Atlanta metro area into various different art spaces around the city. We've been to Peter Street Station many, many times. All the other galleries in the neighborhood, Nina Baldwin, Old Rabbit, Zukai Gallery, but we also encourage them or take them to High Museum, Carlos Museum at Emory, and make sure that they have also a clean space to exhibit their work. And last year we were at Adama's space at Pittsburgh Yards. We're going to be there again. And so, you get to see the fruits of all of our labor. And sometimes I have you all come out and speak to the students. So thank you so much for those of you who have been. And I look forward to hopefully calling more of you to come on out.
Okay, some dates. Yeah. I will run through these dates. I know it's a lot of dates. So Saturday, we have open artist critiques. This is the first time that we're doing an open artist critiques. What we typically do is leading up to the event, we have artist critiques, and we have some wonderful panelists, professional artists, gallerists, curators. They're in the space to help us get ready for the show. We decided this year that there are a lot of artists who ask for feedback, or when we get to the critique, they're like, well, I didn't know if I should bring this or if I should bring that. So if we could do all of that before the artist call even opens, right? So you're invited to come out and to bring 3 to 5 pieces of work. They won't be long critiques, but we'll be there to offer feedback for 3 hours. Um, the link is actually live right now for you to start registering for it. We'll be at the Goat Forum, weather permitting. So we know we're expecting some ickiness, but we plan to be there. George and I will be there. We will have a few of our previously participating artful artists who'll be there. And if we have a couple special guests stop through to assist in the critique and the feedback, they'll be there as well. February 1st, the artist call opens. We're really looking forward to that, but we wanted to make sure to try to give you as much information as possible before the artist call opens.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
There are no points for submitting on the day of the drop. Like, though, like, it's great to see them come through, but feel free to take your time, unless you just got a body of work that you just know you got it ready to roll out. So throwing that out there.
Take your time. February 18th, we have another informational. This one will just be virtual. So if you have friends or people in your network who were unable to attend, or you just want to hear some information again, or you're looking for some additional feedback, you have some questions, that would be a great time. Excuse me while I pause and let some more people into the waiting room.
Thank
you. Then we have open artist critiques a second time on February 22nd. So if you come out to the first one, you can still come out to the second one. You have some new things you want to show us. You have some more things you want to ask. That's fine. On February 28th, the artist call closes. We stick to that pretty good. So there are people who are like, oh gosh, I missed it. We're going to try to remind you as much as we possibly can via email. If you're part of our listserv, we will try to remind you online. Like, we will do all the things to remind you, but it does close February 28th. Within a week, we'll notify all of the selected artists. We will give you a week to confirm that you want to participate. Confirmation includes a contract. So an agreement that says, yes, I'm going to be there for the show. Yes, I'm going to be available. Yes, I'm going to be open to feedback. I'm going to read all of the emails that you sent me. And there is also a participation fee. It's $100. Years ago, we had no participation fee, and artists might show up and they might not. So this is just us, like, there is some level of investment. If that becomes a hindrance or that's a problem, please let us know. That is worthy of a conversation. We've had artists who say, okay, if I sell some work at the show, then can I pay? And we've done that. I need to break up that payment, right? Like, so it's not about the money, but it is about a level of commitment. And also there's a level of investment. So when it comes to framing your work, to present your work, it doesn't have to be expensive materials per se, but just know that it is about the presentation being ready for the show. We'll make the artist announcement on March 21st. So we do have alternates, and we have accepted those alternates into the show for people who couldn't kind of pull it together, people who decided that they could no longer participate. So during that time is when we're working through making sure we have space for any potential conflicts that have arisen, to make sure we still have space. We expect to select 30 to 32 artists this year. That will depend on how many 3D artists there are, how the work is presented, how it shows up. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And then the big date that all of you should have in mind is June 13th for Artful ATL. There will be artist walkthroughs, there will be artist meet and greets, there will be those critiques with the professional artists and all the things. We really are working to build community. We want the artists to know one another. We want them to build from one another. We want them to learn and grow from one another. We hope that you find some new people, you find a new tribe, you grow your tribe. And that's what we're working through. We find that some of the most successful artists and best relationships happen when folks have the time and ability to come out and commune with everyone else. So this is not work that we look to do in a silo, and we hope that the participating artists don't do it in a silo either.
Yeah. And like, one of the things, like, I know this is a lot of programming, and trust me, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't something that folks are asking for. But we do find that the more engaged an artist is, like, the more successful they are at the event. And like, I don't think that's us. I think that's you all. And like sharing information with each other and just all the things. So yeah, it's we're just gonna keep doing what works. So
yes,
yeah.
Yes. Submission form.
Yes. So when you access the submission on Artful ATL on our Instagram
Mhm.
or on Facebook or on the
The
web,
link tree,
the link
for
tree.
people,
Uh-huh.
the tiny URL, we'll share that. We'll do all of that. And hopefully it'll be on the website too.
You will fill out this information. One thing to be very careful about is your government name versus your artist name versus your Cash App or PayPal. Some of that does get a little confusing sometimes. So try to give us as much information as possible and as clear as possible, and concise rather, that matches up. And one thing that we will mention is that there's space for 5 submissions. Please feel free to submit 5. Like we know that sometimes people don't have the range or the number of works that they might want to have for the show. We totally understand that because the show is in June. So you're going to create plenty of work, but the 5 that you submit should give us an idea of what you're going to create for the show. And then also, please don't submit them separately. Submit them in that one submission. They'll all be there, and like we tried it out, and it does work. Um, if there's problems though, um, many of you, I'm gonna give you my cell phone number. You can DM me. For some reason, I treat that like that's like communication, like you just right outside, just talking to me. And any other communication you want to do through email with
Yeah.
the So is an emailer. Yeah.
The submission fee is $20. Whether you're accepted or not, it does include a ticket to the show. We hope you find that to be fruitful. Um, it's a good time, but also to see the artist whose work was accepted, to see what it presents like, to see what it looks like. It is not like an artist not being accepted into the show. It doesn't speak to how good or talented that artist is. We're also looking for work that we believe tells a wonderful, beautiful story together. We're looking for people who we think will get along together, like based on the conversations and the interactions we have, based on your style of work. So if this year we have a lot of photography submissions, then it might be hard for you to get in. If you have really bright, colorful oil paintings that you do, and we have 6 artists, then it might be really tough for you to get into that spot. So we're looking for all of those things. Um, as with most things, everything happens when it's supposed to. We have artists who submitted 2 or 3 times and have not gotten in, and then the 4th time they did get in. The work may have been slightly different. They may have just hit their stride, or it may just have been the time for them based on the sort of artwork that they were presenting. But we're happy to offer feedback. And especially if you've submitted before and you're like, I done submitted 2 or 3 times. I don't know why I didn't get in, but you never did ask the question. Please be open to feedback. We try to be as nice and honest about it as possible. If you want softer feedback, that's George. If you want more direct feedback, that's me. But it's all gonna be honest. It's gonna be honest. It's just a different delivery.
Yeah. Cool.
What we're looking for.
Okay, so emerging artists, we know that that is a relative term. Like, there's some people in here that have been practicing for 2 decades and still consider themselves emerging, right? So that typically speaks to not having gallery representation. However, there are some folks, like I said, that come through and also have gallery representation, but emerging nonetheless. Local artists, by that we mean Atlanta metro area. If you commute from Chattanooga, that might not work out so well. However, anything that's truly just considered the outskirts of Atlanta, even if it's an hour, I think we should be okay. We will work that out. You must be 21 and up, like we mentioned before. Please keep that in mind because of our sponsors. You should be present during the show the whole time, okay? Like missing out on sales and not being there, there's a direct correlation between the two of those. So, yeah.
You're responsible for the sales of your artwork, right?
Yes.
So we don't sell the work, we don't handle any money. All of that happens with you. You're more than welcome to have a guest there who's assisting with that. But our guests are looking to engage with the artist. They're as much investing in you as they are investing into that physical piece. So being present is really important.
And these are original works of art, so no prints unless it is a hand print, like an actual, print making process. However, I will mention that the work should be from this year or the last year, within a year. Of course, there's some flexibility with that, especially if you haven't shown a lot, but we do find that the community in Atlanta is still kind of small, right? So we don't want people to have seen it at another show and another exhibit, another gallery, etc. The work needs to be new for Artful ATL.
And it doesn't all have to be new, right? So it can be a mix. So if you have something that you created a couple years ago and you feel like it's an anchor piece or you've reworked the piece and it goes really, really well with everything else you're presenting, then that's okay. But we want to see some of your most recent work, and not that it has been shown a lot. Like we want our guests to feel really special about what they're seeing.
And there's some of you in this room that are bangers. Like right now, you don't sell a work for less than $2,000. I get it. But please, for emerging collectors, them folks with like one apartment, one bedroom, only got a little bit of space, maybe don't have a lot of expendable income, vary up the size. Like maybe create something in a slightly different style, even though I guess I won't push that too hard. But ultimately, give people a window, a door in to your to collecting your work because they're really excited about it. I promise you, they line up at the beginning trying to get up in there and buy your work. So to get there and nothing be below $1,000, that actually is really deflating for some collectors. The goal, the sweet spot is
Yeah. So we find that work priced between $300 and $400 is a great entry point because a lot of these people may not know you or may not be familiar with your work. Some people are very familiar, right? Because they've done their research, they've been following you for a while. We certainly have some superstars who've been at this for a while, but for a lot of our artists, they're new and emerging artists. And so just imagine a collector who doesn't have any familiarity there. We want them to have some accessible works. That does not mean you can't have work that's priced at $2,000, $3,000, $3,500 because those pieces sell as well. But there's something about getting it started. And I think one of the things that Maya Bailey taught us some years ago was one piece of artwork purchase, like it begets the next piece of artwork purchase. So I can remember buying a piece for $100, for $150, for $400, and it became that much easier to buy that next piece. So this is part of us all doing the work to introduce people into spending money and investing in original artwork. And we do that with great entry price points.
Yeah, and a clean presentation. We'll show you some examples here in just a few with a cohesive body of work. So, most work needs to be framed up. Of course, if it's a canvas, if it's deep enough, go ahead and paint those edges. So presentation is just about it being clean and hang ready, which we'll also talk about here in just a moment. We do incorporate all materials. Even if you work in a material that we have not displayed before, just come to us and let us know. She may be in the room, I'm not sure, but somebody came to us talking about cake decorations and desserts. And it was like amazing, the idea that she had. We just couldn't figure out a way to make it work that year. But if she come back through this year, we might be able to figure that out. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, painting, graffiti, photography, sculpture, drawing, digital media, textiles and fabric, jewelry, like all of it, literally come and let us know and we'll figure this out. Cool.
So expectations, punctuality. Love how many of you were on time here today, but there are a lot of programmatic elements when we get ready to hang the work. So you'll be responsible for the hanging of your work. We have a wonderful team of people who are there to help us hang the work at Atlanta Contemporary. We'll be there to help. But when we start talking about timing and we say we're going to be here from 11 to 6, at 6 o'clock, we're going to pack up and we're going to leave. And we're going to lock the doors behind us when we leave. So if we give time frames, like we want you to adhere to the time frames. Responsiveness. We're going to send a lot of emails. I try not to send more than one email a week, so it's not like they're a bunch in that way. I try to highlight the really important parts of the email, but we all want to show up as professionally and as responsively as possible. So just to be aware, if you're not an email person, George is really good about sending DMs and saying, hey, if Sohei sent an email, be sure to check your email. But I've asked him not to try to repeat everything I said in the email because he may not say it exactly how I said it. Mm-hmm. And if you start responding to his emails with my requests, I don't always get them.
Yep.
So. We do ask to be professional. We haven't had any issues with that. Everybody is lovely. Everybody is excited to be in the space. Again, the attention to detail, because there are going to be a lot of things that we're asking you for throughout the submission process. So just pay attention. And then lastly, to be open to feedback. So that's one where we've had some people who bristle up at some of the critique feedback, or when we're in the space and, we ask you to prepare for what your wall is going to look like before we show up in the space, we may have some feedback. We're open to conversation. We're open to dialogue. It's not that our way is the only way. But we do want you to be open to some folks who may have been doing this for 15 or so years. So not to take it personally. And if you have an issue with that sort of feedback, that can also be a sidebar conversation because it may just be how we're presenting. And that's okay for you to let us know that too.
Yep. Hey, okay. So previous participants, let me see. Actually, first of all, raise your hand if you've been in any of our shows before. Any of our shows. Yes, I love that. I love it. Y'all family. All right. Thank you for that.
Family.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna welcome everybody else in too. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be talking about here.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Shout out to Emmy.
Yes.
Hey, Emmy.
Yes. Oh, this is your work too. All this is your work, in fact.
So we wanted an example of someone who's participated multiple years. Emmy's not the only one, but George came up on his pictures first, I imagine, because these are the ones we included. And every year he shows up, it feels like you're getting a new version of Emmy. Still looks like his work. We still recognize that this is Emmy's work, but year over year, our guests come out and they're excited to see what Emmy is bringing this year. Yeah. Year over year, they're excited to see what charity is doing this year. So being able to find your voice and continue with your voice without just trying something wild and crazy that doesn't feel like you, like not doing something different for the sake of doing it because you are evolving as an artist. And we want our guests to see that evolution. So if you've participated before, there are a couple of things to know. We try to make sure we have at least 40% of the spaces available for new artists who've never shown with us before. So just so you know, like we don't start there, but after we make the selections and we're looking at the names and the rosters and who's there, then we look and we say, do we have a nice representation of new artists? So sometimes for artists who participated before, the competition can be steeper because we have so many artists who participated with us before. If it's been a few years, then that makes it easier for you, right? But the importance of your participation. We also don't want people making the assumption like, well, I've done it for a couple of years, so I'm gonna give somebody else space. If that's how you truly feel, that's fine. But we would love for you to give us the opportunity to say, because for artists who have participated before, you act as informal mentors. And as we look for some more formality around that mentorship, you are able to feed and pour into artists who haven't participated before. And so we wouldn't want 32 brand new artists participating in Artful, and we appreciate and are grateful for the folks who come back year over year. Hopefully you've learned something, and so you're able to bring that and pour that back in. And again, the evolution of the work.
Yeah, and please talk to the individuals that have exhibited multiple times in our shows because, like they got some tricks and I'm sure they're willing to share. And I will also mention collectors. I know there's some of you that are artist collectors. Yeah, we sit around talk about y'all. Ooh, we love to say, oh, they're bringing something real hot right now. You know what I mean? Like, so even if a collector owns multiple pieces of your work, trust me, they're waiting for that next evolution of you to see if they can go ahead and get back in the door and like add that next portion of your career and story to their collection. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Okay. And right now, I'm sorry, I do want to just offer a moment. If any of our previous Artful, Articulate, any show we've done, if you're here in the space and you have anything that you want to share as we move into the final portion of the presentation, we will have Q&A at the end, and hopefully we'll also just have some open dialogue in the space. But is there anything that you feel like we've missed so far in what we've covered that all of these beautiful people should know?
We killing it. We killing it. Thank y'all. See, it's all that positive reinforcement. We try to get that back too.
I love y'all for sitting right up here and giving us all that. I feel it too. I feel it. Thank you.
Emmy look like he got something to say though. Okay. All right. Okay.
Some more space.
Okay.
Display.
Cool. Okay. So as we mentioned, clean display. Don't think symmetrical, just think balance. You're within a space with 30 some odd other artists. Keeping a foot between your space on the right and the left, unless you get blessed with like one of those corner areas, is expected. And just try to lay it out prior to. Hang ready, of course, refers to the wire on the back of your pieces. We know that there are some pieces that might come with the, what's that, the saw? Is that what it's called on the back? Yeah, yeah, no, like we don't want none of that. We just want the wire and the hanger because one of the things that we do find is that when we're limiting the number of holes in the wall, we don't need anything to balance it out. You just need one thing to hang it with, and we'll show you the examples of those hanging apparatus in a second, and we'll more than likely provide those on the day of hanging anyway. Um, the label fairy will provide you with your labels. They'll just miraculously appear as you provide her with the information, and they will all be cohesive and consistent throughout the space. In fact, we will try to all make sure that we put them in the same place on all of our pieces, or sorry, below and to the right of all of our pieces. 2D work, I'm sorry, we already did it. Okay. For canvases, please do make sure they're stretched. We're not pinning anything to the wall. Got to say it just because we've seen it. Everything, once again, will be like on a frame of sorts and hung. And of course, you will hang that work. Staying within your boundaries and not encroaching, yes, upon anybody else's space is really important. It's just respectful because, like you're 10 feet, they're 11 feet, whatever. Everybody's going to value that space, and we don't want to damage anybody else's display. We do. Yeah, please.
A story.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it was some years ago, but we had an artist who, we put down little blue tape. We let you know what your boundaries are. And this artist went outside of the boundaries. We asked them to, come back in. And they didn't. And the artist that they were next to was very soft spoken, very mild mannered. So that artist didn't push back either. And it really did mess up the display of that artist's artwork. So pictures weren't clean. You couldn't tell where the delineation started. That artist didn't get the presentation that they had worked so hard for.
Yeah.
That artist that encroached upon the space and didn't respect the boundaries and didn't take to the feedback of where they should be, subsequent years they applied to our shows and they didn't get in. They never asked why, and if they asked why, I would tell them exactly why. But those sorts of things and just being respectful and respecting your neighbors and respecting the space are really important.
Absolutely. With layout, please feel free to lay it out digitally any way you want, any platform you can, just to have a visual reference on the day of hanging. In fact, we actually will ask for it prior to the event to just make sure that we do see it and whatnot. And
now,
hey, yes, clean, balanced, organized. We know these folks. Okay, yeah, you up here. And they're clean. I mean, look at that. I mean, the precision of it is beautiful. And I mean, sometimes, like, if you're like me, I eyeball stuff a lot. But like I said before, we got these little bitty holes, so nobody knows the better. Like just because you moved it 3 times, nobody knew because you didn't have to put a big old nail or a big old screw in there. So that's major. So itty bitty little holes. And they were little. Yes. And it looks lovely. It looks amazing. Yeah, it looks really, really good. So
very balanced.
Yeah.
Very
and I'm sorry. With those, I especially like the height too. I mean, think about when somebody walks up to your piece. I know some people are oddly tall, some people are oddly short, but not oddly. Sorry. You know what I mean? Just like lay it out for an average person to walk up and not have to look down at your work or not have to look too far up at your work. So yeah.
And we'll talk about that as we get into the show, but we have people who want to like put everything up there. Mm-hmm. And we don't need everything up there to be the best representation of your work. We don't have to see all of it. We want to see the best of the best, but we don't want people to be overwhelmed. And we also look for balance and cohesiveness throughout the room, right? So we have...
My bad, is that me? Yeah, that's me. Yeah. And that spacing is beautiful, by the way. Like the spacing on the works is awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Taylor.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. These are 3D pieces. If you're a 3D artist, sculptures, we do have pedestals. Just be aware that we do have some limitations with, the space or I guess the surface area of those pedestals, but they've done a really good job of making sure we have what we need. And of course, we don't want to put it in walkways, so we may have to limit the amount of work that you have, but nonetheless, we are ready for 3D artists as well. And speaking of precision, one of the things we do appreciate about Zuri's work is the consistency of his framing. There's a cohesiveness there. There's a unity. Oh, Mirage framed those. Yep. So is she in the room? Where's she? No, she's not here. Okay. Well, nonetheless, like, hey, what's up? What's up? Yo, so like, I mean, look how clean that is, So like, there's no distraction from the frame and his work. Like the frame enhances it. And Meredith's excellent, clean display. And of course, that variation of size is wonderful because once again, collectors do appreciate that.
So that's some of what we were talking about, but those small pieces, and you have some medium-sized pieces, you have some larger pieces. And again, when people see that pieces have been purchased and those small pieces go quickly, then they're interested in the medium-sized pieces and the larger pieces. And it kind of,
Yeah.
You know how people do. They want what other people got.
Yep,
Hang
so
it.
true. Okay, so here are the hanging equipment. We've literally been using these for over a decade now. And one of the things that I will mention, even if you have some really large, heavy pieces, resin coated and all that, Mason Fine Art, Mark up there, showed us many years ago. I mean, he would hang these jumbo pieces on the three-prong version of these. They'll handle the weight of your work. So we will have these on hand, but if you want to purchase some of your own, there will not be any screws whatsoever, no anchors, no large nails. There are some people that talk about shelving and whatnot. That's something we'd have to get approval for, but the goal here is to limit any damage to the walls. And we already did the hang ready thing. Okay, cool. I think that's it. Yeah.
So here we will open up just the space once again for artists who participated previously, anyone who has anything to add, and then we're going to open up the floor for some questions.
Yep. Okay.
So either or, right? So if you are here and you participated before and you have some words of wisdom you want to offer, you feel like there's something that we didn't cover, some things that should be shared, and especially for the artists who participated before, like you know things that we may not know, right? So we think we know, but you all know because you participated. And I think it could be helpful for you to share any insight you have as people get ready to submit for this year's show.
Yeah. So please. Yep. Mm.
You know, we sold our family, we figure out what we sold, and then at the end of the night, we tell hey, yes, what we accumulated in sales, and then have a place where you can take payment. There's multiple places where you can take payment. Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, have a multitude because not everybody has Zelle. If you have a credit card payment system on your website, so your images also up to on in your store. That way they can purchase in your store because you're getting 100 yourself. It's not like you have to put that into. So yeah. It's a good place to be able to know what you sold. And then also to have someone there with you. Don't do it alone.
Very good.
Thank you, Vanna.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wanted to offer a 30% discount to any artist that are
Nice. Very good. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Please.
If you're creating a new body of work that you haven't not done, then we submit by showing you like a digital illustration mock of what we're doing, and it's like I have something, just one piece as a reference of the particular style. But this is where you guys get an idea.
Yes, it can be work in progress. It can be your mock-ups. It can be just with some level of explanation. But if we have questions, then we also ask, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, please. No.
Yeah.
As a frame of reference with things that you're currently working on. Yes. Yeah. So as a frame of reference, it could be something that you don't have in your possession, but we want to see what you're working on that you would include.
Yeah. Please. That's a great question. So with digital printouts of digital illustration, is that what it is? Okay. We do find that artists that are working with digital illustration actually will.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
We do find that those artists, if you're printing on archival papers, printing on canvas, any of those things, going through and embellishing it, that'll make it original enough for us, I believe.
Original.
Yes.
It makes
yes.
it original.
Yes,
not just
that makes it original. Yes.
We appreciate hand embellishments even on digital artwork. So even if it's just a little something, you touched it.
to show you like the before I shoot it.
You can show it that way. I would highly encourage you to figure out that digital the hand embellishment so that we can see some example of it.
Yes.
So knowing that, so it doesn't have to be all the pieces, or even if you came out to an artist critique. So that's the great thing about the critiques. We can see the physical work and get a better idea. So for those of you who are able to make it out to either of the artist critique dates, having that level of familiarity of what it looks like in person will probably give you, yeah.
I also do digital painting as well, and so I would plan to do that. I usually convert mine over to Canvas, and then it'll be free.
Okay.
But with that, whenever we're going to proceed, is it best for me to bring the Canvas version, or do y'all want to just do the digital?
The Canvas version is better. So when you can, if the works are too big and you have issue transporting it, or so, and you want to show us like on your phone and stuff, but it doesn't show nearly as well as being able to see the physical piece.
Cool. Awesome.
Tell?
Is there a limit on how large?
So we need collectors to have options, and with the spacing being from 10 to 11 feet, the idea of having any of those pieces more than 2.5 feet wide, 3 feet, you're starting to run into just limiting your space. We did have an artist one year that literally had beautiful work, but there were like 2 of them, and they were like 4 by 7 feet, and they were gorgeous, but you got to find the 2 people in the room that are willing to buy that. And we really want to make sure that artists have an opportunity. Yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good point. Yes. We want people to take the work home with them that night. You can arrange to drop it off later. You can arrange to meet them the next day at the space. People do all the things, but the easier it is, the better. I'm sorry, Zuri, you had something to say in the back?
Yeah. I'm not taking home with me. Do that as well if they're making the work and
Mm-hmm. So true.
Selling, are we able to bring like bubble wrap stuff so we can
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to try to work on making sure there's some staging in the back for you to be able to, at the end of the night. So we ask for people not to take the work until we get towards the end of the night. If the show's over at 10, we ask for people not to start taking work down before 9:30, because then it doesn't allow for the same level of presentation if somebody comes in and buys work at 6 o'clock and then you have empty spaces. If you are so fortunate as to have replacement pieces, right? Like I sold this 2x3 piece and I have another 2x3 piece in the back, you can allow that person to take the piece if you are ready to put up that other piece and you already had me create a label for you. So there's workarounds for that, but we don't want empty spaces in the work during the night. Zuri? We'll try to work through it. We'll try to work through it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's supposed to submit 5 for the writer's call, but how many pieces can you show? Because I know there's 50 more than 5 on.
That's a great question.
You can fit in, it's usually like the sweet spot, I would say, is between 7 and 10 pieces of work, but that depends on the size of your work and the display and how you kind of map it out. So some artists are able to have some more if you go with a whole bunch of small pieces. So we don't have a number of pieces, but more so your space and not overcrowding your space. So we ask that you don't hang too high. We ask that you don't hang too low. We ask that you don't encroach upon other people's space. So it's more about the space that you have. And some people's space is smaller than others. There's some spaces that might end up being 9.5 feet wide, right? So depending on where you're placed within the space would dictate how much work you can post. Yeah.
So how do you determine
That's part of the curation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try to, this is okay.
Yeah, please.
We try to balance out, like we want some newer artists near some more like artists, seasoned artists who participated before so they can kind of lean on each other and learn from each other. So we try to mix it up in that way. If artists' work is somewhat similar, like if you're both brightly colored abstract artists, we wouldn't put you next to each other. We want some balance in between. So maybe there's a black and white photographer, we place it in between you. So all of those things to try to, we want the eye to move throughout the space.
Yeah. Awesome in the back. Yep. So we'll have two critiques. The initial one will be this Saturday at the Goat Farm. We're right up front, so as soon as you pull up, you'll kind of see us in the corner at 206.
Yes, and
Okay.
registration is required.
Yeah,
So we have
yeah.
a limited number of spots.
Yeah.
We try to keep it organized. You'll get 5 to 7 minutes uninterrupted with us and 2 to 3 other people who are going to be providing feedback, and it's through the lens of this particular show, right? So, yep.
Yes.
If you have some pieces in progress, if you have some things you've already created that you want feedback on, even if it's not what you're considering like for submission now, because maybe it's for another show, but this is along the lines of what you're thinking about submitting.
And this one's a bit more informal because it's so preliminary that we're just getting familiar with some of your works. So I think that'll be, yeah, it shouldn't be intimidating.
And it's open, right? So your peers will be around and they may have questions about your work. They may have questions about your materials. You can stick around and listen to other people getting feedback, which may prove helpful to you as well. Mirage?
So I don't know if somebody asked this, but it's kind of similar. So since there's, so much time in between the submission deadline and the actual show, I know you said that it's okay for us to submit works in progress. What if it's not quite in progress yet? It's a concept at this time, but it'll be done by the show. Is that how does that work with the submission?
It will probably, it could leave you at a disadvantage, right? So it doesn't exclude you, but depending on what you're able to show conceptually, if there's someone with a finished body of work and you have something that's conceptual that's up here that we can't see.
Yeah. So the better the visual description sample, the more you're communicating, the better. Yeah.
And part of the reason why we're trying to move all of this up is to give artists more time to prepare for the show, to give us more time to offer feedback as you're working through it. So there is some trust, right? There's an element of, we think you're going to get there with this. We like where you're going with this, but you do have to give us something.
Yeah, I think the artist critiques, I know the first registration is open already. When can we expect the second date to be open if the art gallery is unable to make one?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I can't imagine that it's going to be open more than 2 weeks before. But yeah, I think you follow along pretty well. You do the emails, you respond. So be on the lookout for it. First week of February, beginning of second week of February.
No, sir.
We have a decent amount of pedestals.
Yeah, especially considering, like sculptures take up a different type of space, right? And the goal here will be, I think at most we can probably only fit 3 to 4 3D artists.
We could try to figure that out.
That could be helpful, yeah. Yep. So we had an artist recently who literally took his sweatshirts and jeans and put them in a shadow box and displayed them. The goal here will be once like consumable, displayable art, regardless of what you're selling. And unfortunately, because there's not a lot of room to take up wall space, like the most I think you could probably put is like a rack with prints, possibly. I can't imagine there being a lot of space for actual merchandise.
Yeah, so we're open, right? So we're open to any and everything. But if we don't feel like it works, because we want this to be a fine art show, an introduction into fine art and original artwork purchase. It's not that clothing can't do that or can't be that, but it is a bit of a stretch. So that's stretch. It's a conversation and us just figuring out how that works.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Welcome, Maya Bailey. Thank you for having space for us.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
No.
I've been excited by 4x4s, inches. Okay, like yeah, like some small works for collectors that don't have a lot of space on their walls. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I know, right? There's some beautiful small works in this show. Yeah, so but yeah, the large ones, just be careful, like we said, about spacing and of course
a variation of work.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can have some time, like we're going to be here for another 30 minutes or so we can have some time to just mix, mingle, and engage. Apologies to the folks who are online, because you can't be a part of that.
And before we do that, do you have your phone?
Do I have my phone?
Yes, I just want to take a picture right quick. You know, I love taking pictures here, so I'm gonna get this right quick. And I got also a quick announcement also. Let's see here. Okay. Oh goodness, what is this? You on live? Okay. My bad. Thank you. All right. So picture y'all. Y'all ain't got pose. You know, y'all here. All right. 1, 2, 3. And whoops, let me zoom out some more. 1, 2, 3. You want to get a selfie? Okay, we get a selfie too. Okay. All right. All right.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, y'all up in here? All right. 1, 2, 3. Cool. And 1, 2. Cool. Okay. So I will announce there are 2 Artful 2025 posters in the back. Okay. Some of you have already signed it. If you displayed an Artful ATL in 2025 and you have not signed it, please take the Sharpie that is beside it and sign both of them in the same spot if you have not already. We're trying to get all 35 signatures if you have displayed. And other than that, we are here.
And
thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
For coming out.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. There you go. Excellent.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, sir. Uh-oh, my magnum back.